All right, I'm clicking go live.
Okay.
Yep. We are... What the hell was that? Prop Beaver knocking shit over in his house.
I'm a classy guy.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this lovely Thursday. This is going to be real quick. There's only 4 games on tonight, and 2 of them have basically no value. I know Prop Beaver had mentioned to me that his 2 favorite props, both the line moved, so they're not even available anymore. So it'll be a quick show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to maneuver.
Yep. So let's just get right into it. Screw it. No need to talk about, hey, how was your day? You don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. We both got things to get done. So let's get to the bets. Grizzlies on the road in Orlando here. This one, it's a little frustrating because I actually like value on both sides here. I'm taking Memphis, but what did I say yesterday? And what have I been saying for a couple weeks now? I promised myself that I would bet the Memphis Grizzlies blindly against Eastern Conference opponents because they're an NBA best 13-3 against the Eastern Conference. They absolutely destroy teams in the East. Last night, I took Memphis minus 7.5 against Charlotte. It cashed. It worked for us. So obviously, I'm going to lay the points here against the Orlando Magic. I know they're on a back-to-back, but you know what? So is Orlando, and the Magic are 0-6 straight up in back-to-backs this year. All that being said, there is a little bit of sneaky value on the Magic because although they are on a back-to-back, Wagner and Jalen Suggs both didn't play last night. So, to their main guy in Wagner, and then another kind of important piece for them, are both going to be on fresh legs, unaffected by the back-to-back. So, obviously, as you can see, I put the bet up as Memphis minus 6.5. This was not enough to scare me off the Grizzlies. But if I wasn't riding this Memphis against the Eastern Conference team's trend, if I wasn't riding that, then I would probably take the points with Orlando here.
Yeah, so this is the only game where my prop didn't get absolutely boned. And it's Paulo Banchero under 20.5 points. Like to play a lot here. We're getting him in a nice sell high spot after coming off a 25-point performance without Franz Wagner against a bottom 5 defense against power forwards in Oklahoma City. Well, now I think he's in for a reality check as Memphis is a top 5 defense against power forwards, allowing the 5th fewest points per game and lowest field goal percentage. Not only is that on the season, but over the last 30 days and the last 2 weeks. Banchero has faced 5 top 5 defenses versus power forwards and is 4-1 to the under, averaging 18 points. On top of that, he has been quite inefficient on 0 days rest, averaging just 17.8 points per game and 39.5% from the field. In terms of what Banchero does, I just think this is an awful matchup. 79% of his shots come at the rim or mid-range, and the Grizzlies D over the last 30 days are 1st and 3rd in rim and mid efficiency. He's likely going to have Jaren Jackson or Brooks on him at all times, and those two have a combined defensive Raptor rating of 8.1, implying that they take 8.1 points away from opponents per 100 possession. While I think the main person who's going to have the points taken away is Paulo Banchero, and I think that the Grizzlies potentially could blow this team out. So yeah.
I like that. And I like how people will be riding the value, not realizing that Wagner wasn't on the floor. It's a lot of shot attempts taken that are up for grabs.
If Suggs comes back too, I mean, that's even more volume because Suggs likes to get shots in.
Suggs sucks, though. You can see Toes trying to defend him. No, Gonzaga!
He does suck. He's horrendous.
Gonzaga!
He's fucking horrendous.
West Coast basketball is just shit. Next game. Toast gets super mad if you insult West Coast basketball. Boston at Dallas. Now, this one probably has more value as far as on the viewership side, just to watch rather than to bet, because this should be a great game. It's on TNT. I'm pumped to watch it. As far as betting, I'm going to take Dallas. Not a huge bet, but you know what? It's 0.75 units, so it's a decent-sized bet. All right, so the Mavericks have won 7 straight, and anyone can see that. But we do have to take into account that it was a relatively easy stretch of schedule. I mean, on this 7-game winning streak, Dallas has seen Houston 3 times. A lot of teams would love to play the Houston Rockets 3 out of 7. But that being said, beating the teams you're supposed to beat is a very important quality in the NBA. Why don't you ask a team like the Clippers why they're always hovering around the middle of the Western Conference? Yeah, they'll go into Boston and beat the Celtics, then they'll fly to Denver and beat the Nuggets, but then they'll fly home and lose to Charlotte. So props to Dallas for taking care of their business, winning the games they're supposed to win. That being said, I don't know what kind of crown we're supposed to put on this team for beating Minnesota, Houston, Lakers, Knicks, Houston, San Antonio, Houston. I think most good teams in the NBA are going at least 5-2, 6-1 in that stretch. So you would think after hearing that, you'd be like, okay, so why are we not betting Boston? Simple. Why are we not betting Boston if everyone's high on Luka? This 7-game winning streak is a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Simple because the Celtics aren't playing good basketball right now. Yeah, they lost 2 straight, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the last few weeks now. Boston's just 1-4 straight up in their last 5 road games, not against the spread. 1-4 straight up. Yeah, they're going to be fine. They're going to be the 1 or 2 seed in the East. We all know that. But right now, to lay 3 points on the road in Dallas, the Mavericks are 15-5 at home this year. This is a good home team. I'm shocked that anyone's laying points to them in Dallas, to be honest. Boston just 7-9 against the spread as road favorites on the year. Yeah, I just can't get there. +3, I'll take Dallas.
Second. Yeah, I firmly agree. I mean, yeah, the Celtics team is 3-8-1 against the spread in the last 12, 0-4-1 against the spread in their last 5. And on top of that, on the road over their last 5 games since December 10th, the Celtics ranked 29th in offensive efficiency and 28th in defensive efficiency. They are playing flat out bad basketball. Dallas at home during that span is sitting 3rd in offensive efficiency and weekly 23rd in defensive efficiency. But at the very least, they are still playing better defense than the Celtics. On top of that, what the Dallas defense is quite good at is limiting threes, and that's pretty important because the Boston Celtics, what do they like to do? Chuck threes. 3rd in three-point frequency during the same time span. Can't say the same about that Boston defense. I think Luka gets active here. The only main worry is the lack of anybody to guard Jason Tatum. That is definitely something that should be brought up. No Dorian Finney-Smith. That's a scary proposition. But Tatum can be inefficient at times on the road, and if he starts forcing threes, then I could see him shooting his way out of a cover here.
Didn't you say Tim Hardaway Jr. was putting up really nice defensive metrics recently?
Yeah, but the problem is he's going to likely be on Jaylen Brown.
Stimmy OG says, Sauce, you've been MIA on Grindr. Nah, I switched my name. My name on Grindr now is Steak Stevens. So you won't find me. All right, let's move to the next one. We're both on Dallas. Utah at Houston. Obviously, there's not many people that are really looking forward to watching this one. And this, I'm a little on the square side with this pick, and I can't believe the Rockets I'm considering the square side. Because, I mean, it probably isn't the square side. It just feels like the books are begging me to bet Houston, and I hate that. But, I mean, where do these odds makers get off putting this line at 6.5? You know, Utah's lost 5 games in a row. They're 5-10 in their last 15. Houston's 4-11 in their last 15. So, I honestly think that these two teams are pretty close. I think Utah, they're in a tailspin right now. I think Utah's going to finish in the 12 or 13 spot in the Western Conference. It's about where I expect Houston to finish as well. I know after the starts, it may not look that way, but I think that's the direction these teams are trending. The only reason for this line is that the Rockets are on a back-to-back, but again, I keep saying this. NBA teams are 11 games above 500 against the spread on back-to-backs this year. The era of fading teams blindly on back-to-backs, that died 2 years ago. The odds makers and sportsbooks are now overcompensating for the back-to-back. Every single time you get a team on a back-to-back, usually, I shouldn't say every single time, usually you're getting an extra point or two of value because that's what the sportsbooks are doing, overvaluing the back-to-back. A lot of these teams are built with young players with fresh legs that have no problem playing basketball games on back-to-back nights. That's just a fact. Not to mention they're deeper. So I'm not scared of the back-to-back. The way I look at it is just Rockets getting 6.5 points at home from a bad team, from a team that doesn't scare me at all. I'm not hammering the shit out of this. This is just another 0.75 units, but definitely on Houston plus 6.5. And I know AJ probably is too because he comes for the Rockets. He loves the Rockets.
I do like the Rockets, but I'm not betting a side here. My prop play was Jared Vanderbilt over 13.5 points of rebounds. That is now at 15.5, so we're not going to roll with that. What we're going to do is we're going to do 7+ points, 7+ rebounds, SGP.
This is Vanderbilt still?
Yes.
So 7+ points, 7+ rebounds. Okay, and that's an SGP, and what's the odds?
Plus 130.
Okay. Last time you gave out an SGP, it was for Valanciunas, and it cashed, I should mention. And I didn't bet it, and I actually made fun of you for it on Twitter, and then it cashed.
Well, that one has a lot of history. I mean, this one has some history too, though, I will say. I'm projecting him for about 24+ minutes, maybe 25 in this game. And he's cashed his last 3 or 4 against the Rockets with 22+ minutes. If he didn't foul out in his previous matchup, which he normally never does, I think that grows to 4 or 5 games against the Houston Rockets. He would have hit this number. Now, with 24+ minutes, he's cashed 7+ points in his last 15 to 21 games, and he's cashed 7+ rebounds in his last 16 to 22 games. At the price, with the hand we were dealt with the line movement, I think this is our best option. Now, if you're feeling a bit frisky, then I would sprinkle on Jared Vanderbilt double-double. I think it's very much in the cards here. He's had a double-double in his last 2 or 4 against them with those 22+ minutes. And I think that if he didn't foul out in the last game, like I said, he was on pace for another double-double. I got it at plus 900 on Barstool, but some books, even like DraftKings, have that at half the price at plus 450. So the larger the price you can get it, the better. I would just sprinkle on that.
I am a little worried, though, based on the information that you yourself have given me this year. Isn't this bet, in a way, fading your boy, Jabari Smith? He's a rebounding machine at home. You told me that.
Yes, Jabari Smith is usually a better rebounder at home, but go check the game logs. He's gone under 5 rebounds in his last 5 or 6 home games. It seems like it seems like the script has flipped. And that happens throughout an NBA season. It's very weird. But with that, I mean, with Kelly Olynyk on the floor, Vanderbilt is also averaging about 1 more rebound per game. I like the spot for him. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, those Jabari Smith numbers definitely opened it up a little bit. I was going based off what you said, but that was like 2 weeks ago, so it makes sense that if the trend has flipped, the trend has flipped. All right.
Fair.
Last game, and I mean, there's really not much to say about this one. Paul George listed as a game time decision. I am assuming, because this line is at 6, that he's probably not going to play, right? I mean, Denver has played great basketball recently, so this isn't a slight at them, but if Paul George is playing, you got to think that this line's sitting at 3, maybe 3.5, maybe. Because the Clippers, with all their guys on the floor, are definitely a top team in the West. I don't care what their record says. Everybody knows it. They just haven't been healthy for that many games this season. Right now, Paul George is listed as a game-time decision. So I'm putting the Clippers plus 6 as a lean. If I would stay on Twitter here, if Paul George is ruled out, I just wouldn't even bet this game. There's only 4 games tonight, so it's frustrating. You want to bet them all, but if Paul George is ruled out and the books are already compensating for it, that means maybe the line doesn't even move that much. I don't really see a ton of value. Denver's been really good recently. They're low-key a top 5 NBA team over the past 3-4 weeks, and no one really is talking about it. So I by no means want to disrespect the Nuggets, but if Paul George happens to play, I think we're getting great value. I just don't think that's a likely scenario.
Yeah, so for my play, this moved from 25.5, so I wouldn't play this at a full unit. I'd play it at a half unit, but give me Jokic over 27.5 points, minus 110. Now, he's cashed his last 6 to 8 games, averaging 30.7 points per game. And with Murray on the court, he's cashed his last 5 or 6 at home, averaging 33.8, and his last 4 or 5 at home with MPJ, averaging 30. Jamal Murray and MPJ have horrible matchups here against the Clippers, as they are both top 4 defenses against point guards and small forwards over the last 2 weeks and the last month. But guess who has a golden matchup? The Joker. Over the last 2 weeks, the Clippers are allowing the most points per game to centers, and as a result, the last 6 to 7 to face the Clippers have cashed this total, with the trio of Adebayo, Turner, and Embiid averaging 36 points per game. It gets even better because on 2 days rest, this guy is an animal, cashing his last 10 of 13 games, going back to last season, averaging 30.7 points per game, and he's 2-0 this season. Add in the fact that his last 2 home games against Ivica Zubac, he had 49 and 30 points, and I think we're getting a cheaper price due to the fact that both MPJ and Jamal Murray are on the court. This line moved from 24.5 last night to 27.5. And I would still take it at the 27.5 for a half unit because simply put, if you look at Jokic's charts, it's either this man scores 20 points or he scores 30 points. So really, the difference between 25.5 and 27.5, as big as it sounds, isn't that big. But I'm not going to ask people to throw the same amount of units I did on a number 2 lower with Vig towards the over. So that's my play for this one.
I obviously, I don't spend as much time looking at the props as you do. I'm assuming that when it comes to a guy like Jokic or Jason Tatum or one of the top 15, 20 superstars in the NBA, that their over on points is most likely going to be the square side every night, right? I would assume.
Oh, it's definitely square, but one thing I'll tell you is, bro, these stars are going off. I mean, we've already had the most 40-point games in a season. We've already had the most 55-plus point games in a season. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Nobody's playing defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is January of the NBA regular season. We know what it is. I wish the NBA was like 42 games and they played on just Wednesdays and Saturdays or something. Where it's almost like NFL Sunday. It was just 2 days a week where it's like, oh shit, it's NBA day. And everyone plays just twice a week. I think that it would make the season a lot more fun to watch. But hey, we still love it. We still love NBA basketball. We watch it all the time and support it. So, all right, that's it. Okay, so what's happening tonight is, so we're going to make a video for tomorrow night's game. And what I'm going to do, if you remember old school from 2 years ago NBA, I'm going to make a YouTube video where I go through all the games. And I give like a 60-second, real fast, rapid fire of all of the best angles in each game. It could be defense against three-point shooting against this team, or it could be offensive rebounding here. It could be a spot, some kind of situational betting, a trend. And I'll go through all of them and give picks for all of them. The problem is we're uploading it late tonight, so you're going to have to watch the live show tomorrow to make sure nothing has changed, because I can't give out final bets at midnight the night before for the NBA. I haven't seen any line movement, and that's what the live show will have. These pie charts in the bottom left corner for the live show. I'm going to have it where I can make them big, the size of the screen, so we can really take a look at them. So that is what I hope the format will be for NBA content moving forward. They have one video where I go through every single game, and you can really get into the handicap of how I got to the picks. But maybe if you don't have time to watch that, or if you just want the picks, then just watch the live show, because it'll kind of be quicker, where it's like, oh, yeah, I'm sticking with what I said last night, or no, you know what, I'm staying away from this one now, blah, blah, blah. You get it. So everyone, thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you on Twitter tonight. Hopefully, let's win some bets. Not the best night for NBA, but still, we'll lay some down. Everyone, have yourselves a good one.